Welcome back to activity 5.5b. In this video we are going to be making the square base Automoblox gentleman. Again, we're going to start with a standard.ipt. We're going to choose a sketch. This time I'm going to sketch on the bottom plane. I'm going to be working my way up. I'm going to start with a 0.575 by 0.575 square base. I'm going to go ahead and constrain this. So I'm going to use the vertical constraint on the horizontal lines, choosing the midpoint and the origin, and then the horizontal constraint on the midpoint and origin of the vertical line to center this. From there, I'm going to then extrude this base 0.3 inches. From that base, I'm going to then create an ellipse. On the ellipse, you want to watch when you're sketching that. You will have to create this by doing both the horizontal and the vertical measurements. So by doing that, you just click on the edge of the ellipse itself and drag up or over depending upon which measurement you are looking for. The horizontal, the major axis, is going to have a radius of 0.236, and the minor axis is going to have a radius of 0.155. I'm going to extrude this a distance of 0.115. And now I'm going to sketch on the top. One thing we also want to check is your dimensions. So I have dimensions D4 and D6 as my horizontal and vertical. In previous drawings, when we offset, it actually allowed us to choose the two different measurements. In this one, it's not allowing us to do that. So what we're going to actually do is we can take our horizontal if that doesn't allow you to do that, what you can actually do is take your horizontal just like you did before and type in on that D, whatever the dimension was on the previous one. So you would type in the D, in this case for the horizontal it would be D4 plus 0.05, and then you do the same for the vertical. If it does allow you to dimension the area between, the distance is going to be 0.05. Now we're going to extrude this shape. You want to make sure to select both the outer and the inner, and the distance that we're going to extrude that is 0.84. And you also want to add a tapered angle. I'm going to make mine 7 degrees. And you'll notice it gives it a nice contour. The next thing we want to do is to create a work feature. We're going to make a work axis I'm going to use the drop down to select through center of circular or elliptical edge. It won't allow you to select the top, but it will allow you to select the base. And now we have our work plane. I'm then going to select the side that is along the minor axes, and I'm going to sketch on that surface. I'm going to choose to slice graphics, so you can hit this button, or the keyboard shortcut is F7. Next, I'm going to project my edges. I want to make sure to have these edges here so that I can reference them as dimensions. Next, I am going to draw an arc off of both sides. And this is just going to be an approximation. And since I projected this center point, I can now use that as a measurement. And I'm going to add my arc. The height of this arc is basically making our shoulders. So once I have my arc created, I am going to extrude, and this time I'm going to use an intersection. And I also want to make sure that the distance is going to be all. So I'm going to use an intersection extrusion, and I'm going to select the profile of all three parts. If I miss one of these three parts, then it's not going to come out to be the right shape. Once I have all those selected, I'm going to go ahead and click OK. And you notice now I have a nice curved shape, but I still have my broad shoulders. Next, we're going to make the head. So we're going to need a work plane through the center of the squared guy. And what we're going to do is I'm going to select plane. I'm going to select this, since it's going directly through the center. And then I'm going to select one of my planes. Depending upon what your preference is, you can select it to go through the minor axes or the major axes. And again, that is personal preference. Once you have your plane selected, go ahead and hit enter. And we're going to be using that plane to sketch on. Again, I'm going to slice graphics so I can see in between there. And I'm going to sketch a rough idea of what the head would look like. Again, this is going to be approximation, so the actual shape is going to be personal preference. Make sure to have some type of center line. This shape is now going to be your main concern. And I'm going to make this collinear with the center line so it has a perfect line here, and it doesn't look off center when we revolve it. So once you have the shape created, you're going to use the revolve. Make sure to check which one it's asking you to do. Axes is highlighted, so it's asking what my revolution would look like. When I'm done, I go ahead and click OK, and there is my square guy. If I'm not happy with the head, I can go back and change what it looks like. And as soon as I finish the sketch, it will update. So you can play around, make it how you want to look. When you're ready, select the work plane and deselect visibility. Do the same with the work axes. Clean up the features on that. And when it's to your satisfaction, go ahead and save it. And you are now done with the square guy. See you on the next video.